Hey everybody, I'm Jordan Garza and welcome to Unredacted. So I know it's the weekend, y'all are just trying to have a good time, but I got a couple of stories that are, kind of a bummer. So we're gonna go through those, but it's not all bad because I got Biden doing an IRL Ron Burgundy. So stay tuned for that at the end. So this morning in New York, right? All right, so this morning in New York, Hamilton Heights bodega worker charged with murder after stabbing a man who attacked him behind the counter. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not going to play the video, even if I wanted to. This one doesn't even work, so you might want to fix that, CBS. So, New York, a Hamilton Heights bodega worker is charged with second-degree murder for allegedly stabbing a man to death after a man confronted and pushed him behind the counter. But many, included Mayor Eric Adams, are defending the worker's action as self-defense. The 51-year-old deli clerk is accused of stabbing and killing a 37-year-old Austin Simon, but the surveillance video is not so black and white. Adams says it shows the suspect was doing his job when the victim approached him inappropriately. And I've watched like I said, I didn't show it, but I watched the video myself. And yeah, guy comes around the corner. It looks like he goes to grab him by the throat, and we'll read on. So he grabbed him right here. He grabbed him by the neck to drag him out. The first thing is you fear for your life, so you're gonna do whatever do is possible. And I'm guessing the guy's upset. And he's trying to relay it. It happened late Friday night in Blue Moon convenience store off West 140th Street. Police were called for an assault in progress and found Simon bleeding from 2 stab wounds in his chest and one in his neck. Oh, wow. The guy got him good. Police arrested a 51-year-old clerk, Jose Alba, in second-degree murder. At Alba's arraignment, the district attorney office claimed it started when the victim's girlfriend was trying to buy a snack from the deli clerk with her daughter, but her card was declined. Didn't have no damn money. Prosecutor said the clerk took the snack but from the child and then they left. So, and that kind of makes it, he took the snack from the child. I'm assuming he asked for it back. The kid probably gave it back, or she threw a fit. We've all been around when the kid doesn't want to give something back in the store. I mean, it's embarrassing. I understand that. But what I'm imagining is she went home and told her husband or boyfriend, whoever, that, the mean man at the store took the snack. She could have let her have the snack, and this guy wanted to come back. So, but minutes later, Simon walked in, went behind the counter of the store, and confronted the clerk. Prosecutor claims Simon pushed the clerk and attempted to steer the defendant out of the area behind the counter. But the defendant picked up a kitchen knife and that was stashed behind the counter and stabbed the victim multiple times. City Councilman Robin Holden shows up for support of the suspect. On Twitter, he wrote, "Career criminals are let out right out of jail without bail, while a store clerk who apparently acted in self-defense is on Rikers Island." And that's right on the money. All across the country, people that are repeat offenders are getting out the same day. And I've read multiple stories of somebody, getting in trouble for something minor in the morning, and by the evening they're arrested again for murder or assault or robbery. It happens all the time. And now we have, and the video shows it very clearly, the man's standing behind the counter, he's minding his own business. Mr. Austin rushes in, he gets behind him, he starts grabbing him by the throat, he's trying to pull him out from behind the counter. The man picks up a knife that he had stashed there and defended himself. And in this area of New York, bodegas have been robbed, and people that work the bodegas or in the bodegas have been robbed, beaten, sent to the hospital. I don't know if anyone else has been murdered in like a recent bodega robbery, but I'm sure it happens. It's New York. I understand things are a lot more aggressive there. The fact that your card got declined is not reason to go behind the counter and confront a clerk and try to get into a fight with them. The level of like privilege and entitlement that shows with this particular person is just ridiculous. And I'm sure they were embarrassed, like I said, but it's just, there's no cause for that. Anyways, let's go on. We have a huge safety problem. A lot of bodegas have been robbed, beaten up. See, I got ahead of myself again. CBS has learned the district attorney's office, defendant counsel together requested the suspect's bail be reduced from $250,000 to $50,000, with the judge granted. The fact that his bail was $250,000 for what is pretty clearly self-defense is absolutely criminal. And it's pretty much it on here, but if you actually know more about Manhattan law or New York City law, is you have what's called the right to retreat, or the duty to retreat. And it's the fact that if any kind of altercation, you have to at least attempt to run away or make extreme efforts in which to get away from this conflict or this fight. And in this particular case, I don't know what the man was supposed to do. He was stuck behind his counter. He had nowhere to go. This guy had already cornered him in there. You can look at the picture here. This is an older guy. He says he's 51, and look at this. This guy he's obviously much taller than him. He's pretty imposing. I'm sure the guy was terrified. He acted in self-defense, and the fact that he was arrested and then given $250,000 bond is just insane. And now I also know that he had to give up his passport and agree not to leave the city because he was planning to go visit his home country, I think the Dominican Republic, in the coming weeks before all this happened. And now, of course, that trip has to be canceled, and that was part of him agreeing to get his bail reduced, was agreeing to give up his passport and not to leave. So, but this is New York City, man. I guess that's just how it goes up there. But that's not the only thing of messed up. People just not thinking of each other. This is from Media 8, and they are NewsGuard certified. I cheated, but I did figure out that they are. Beltway climate protest backfires as video of a parolee pleading he needs to get to work goes viral. And this is a climate protest. They had blocked off the I-495 in Montgomery County, and they weren't letting anyone in, caused a big traffic jam. Now, I have no problem with civil disobedience or civil protest. Sometimes you have to get your point across. But the fact that this went on to the point that such a traffic jam had built up that a man decided to get out and confront one of these protesters is a failure on law enforcement. Look, there's a police car right here. I don't understand. I saw articles when I was looking for this one of the same thing happening, people blocking off the road. It goes on for 10, 15 minutes, and then they get arrested. You get arrested, you might spend the day in jail, you probably won't. You have your day in court. It's normally a slap on the wrist. And so this is kind of a failure on law enforcement. But let's read on and see what happened with the parolee. So a climate change protest backfired on Monday after a video clip of a parolee pleading with activists blocking the Beltway to let him pass so he could go to work. One lane. I'm asking for one lane, the man said, who got out of his car to confront the activists sitting on the I-49 in Montgomery County. The man, who was clearly agitated, ripped the signs from the sitting protesters' hands, claimed he was on parole and he could get sent back to jail for being late to his job, which is true. That's 100% true. The man who was the activist did not budge and could be heard saying that they can't move until Biden declares a climate emergency. There it is. A clip of the man shared online by News to Share quickly gained attention online as the man pleading to get out of work struck a chord. Why did they put online twice? Anyway. A later video shared by Ford Fisher from News to Share shows the police arresting a man who had tried to physically remove some of the protesters. And so I understand he's being arrested because from what I can tell, I think he did kind of push people around. He grabbed the signs, he ripped them out of their hands, and technically that is assault. But the fact that these people are so indignant and so uncaring that they're just gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna go to jail if you don't get to work." Well, tell Biden to do. This guy's on parole. He's just trying to go to work, so he has a kid that he's trying to provide for. I read ahead, of course. And he's just trying to get to work. And these people are so indignant and so entitled that they think that, no, we are more important than you. And everything that we do is always more important than you. Nobody else matters but us. And that's why climate activists have organization names by like any means necessary, it's just the ends justify the means with these people. And I don't always disagree with that, but the way that they go about this is just it's unconscionable. So the report also noted that at least one counter-protester who was also charged with second-degree assault for resisting arrest, so these people, on top of being indignant, they're also resisting arrest, but it took someone getting out and causing a fuss for anyone to actually do anything. Here's where things take a little bit of a turn and this get a little slimy. Guido Reichstraster, I don't care that I messed his name up because this guy's a piece of trash. I don't care. Who was confronted by the parolee, wrote on Twitter, "The shirtless man nudging me with his body was not violent with me. I did not feel threatened. I believed his arrest was unnecessary, and I'll be happy to issue a statement or testify in his favor. The lives of thousands of millions of people depend on an emergency climate action now." Could have just said whatever. So, and I know I used a little bit of a voice, but I feel like that's probably how he talks. So he tries to go on and, it's not in here. It's okay. I did a little more digging. So he puts this statement out and says that, I didn't, I just want to look at me. I'm a good person. But right after this, he sets up a GoFundMe that's basically set up to, it says, I don't know this man's name and I don't really know who he is, but I know he has a child. And our protest was not an act of hate. It was an act of love for my own children. You have kids and you can't compute the fact that this man needs to get to jail or he'll be taken away from them. And now you're going to go on Twitter and act like you're a big hero. Anyway, he sets up a GoFundMe to help this man get his life back on track for $100,000. Right after saying he doesn't know his name, he doesn't really know his situation or who he is, then he goes on to say that he smelled of alcohol and seemed distressed. And it's my fault for not finding the future tweets. No, they're not down here. But you can do a cursory Google search into this, and you'll see it's clear as day. And the guy made a GoFundMe. He's trying to set it up, and he's basically saying, "Look at me! I did a thing. Give me money." It's fucking. Sorry. I really try not to curse, and I try not to get too angry on these videos. But anyway, it's aggravating. It's aggravating to see that you can't even, much less self-defense and defend yourself against someone who's aggressively attacking you. You can't even ask people just to stop their temper tantrum for 2 seconds so you can get to work and not have to go back to jail. And, oh, well, he was on parole. He did something. That's not the point. Being on parole means you have at least somewhat done your debt to society and you are trying to be better. You're trying to do better. And I know a lot of people break their parole or they mess up while they're on parole, but the fact remains that this guy is trying to get to work. And y'all can't be bothered to move. All right. Well, like I promised, I wasn't going to be a total bummer. So I got a clip here of Biden, and I think this is from this morning. He just doesn't can't ride a bike. Needs dedicated cards and sheets to remind him to say hello, sit in chairs, open doors, and say his lines. He also doesn't understand teleprompter instructions, like if on the weatherman, I think Ron Burgundy. But watch this.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who registered.
Watch this guy's face. Watch this guy's face right here.
Consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political or maybe precise.
Besides the fumbling afterwards, repeat the end of quote. Repeat the line. Those are prompter instructions. Those are prompter instructions reminding you just do not mess. I mean, it's literally giving you instructions to say that's the end of your quote. Now repeat that one again to get your point across, and maybe whisper it, Joe, because we like it when you whisper. It's just so I may have misspoke slightly. Because I did want to bring up one quick thing, and I won't go on and on about it, because you know how I get about gas, and I'll go into potatoes, and it'll get out of hand. It's the weekend, and I'm going to try to let y'all get out of here quick. So just real quick thing. Biden sold 1 million barrels from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to a China-owned gas giant. In a time when our gas and oil prices are through the roof, and America is crying out, please help us stop this. He's going to sell, it's not 1 million. I think it's like 900. Let me find it. It's like 995,990. It's just shy of 1 million. I don't know why they didn't go for we probably didn't have it. So, but on top of look, so right here, the Biden administration sold roughly 1 million barrels of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to a Chinese state-controlled gas giant that continues to purchase oil from Russia. So even though Biden is coming out and saying Americans will pay, Americans will pay high prices for as long as it takes, and again blames Putin. Americans will pay high gas price for as long as it takes until Ukraine wins, and that's the quote of it later. And in a time when he's saying stuff like that, he's also going to give 1 million of our barrels to a Chinese-controlled company that still does business with Russia and Ukraine, and it's 950,000 Strategic Petroleum Reserve barrels sent to Unipec. And just a fun little thing I thought was interesting. Unipec, is it Unipec or is it? Hold on, it's down here. Right there. Turner also said a decision highlights the Biden's family's reputation in China. Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is tied to Sonopec, which is a conglomerate of Unipec, which is who bought the gas from America. It's another. I'm so angry I can't even talk. It is another clear example that Biden and Hunter Biden are in collusion, being dirty, doing dirty work across state lines, across oceans, and nobody is calling it out. There are videos of Hunter Biden on video, smoking crack, naked, playing with himself, you could say, in a deprivation tank when a month before Biden has wired him $20,000 for his quote detox treatment. But he's all right. I'm done. I'm sorry. I got a little upset. I got a little passionate, and I apologize. So, like I said, I'm not gonna go on and on. I'm gonna let you guys have a good weekend. Try not to let this bum you out too much, but I suggest you look into it. And now that I brought it up, we're gonna talk about Hunter Biden next week because I'm a little irritated now. You guys have a nice night. Keep your eyes open, your ears to the ground, and I'll see y'all next time.